Bitcoin is currently sitting at $94,400. It is May 6th, 2025, and this is your market update and analysis. Okay, so what we can see here is this trend line has been at play since April 7th, since February of 2025. And what we can see was this was definitely resistance or a ceiling until we had this sort of reverse head and shoulders. I'm not a huge pattern trader, but that is what that is. Then you break above it, and now we're seeing this as support. And even today we're looking at the 3-hour, we can see that Bitcoin is using it as support again. Now, one thing that I've talked about a lot is when you're on a downtrend, when you get these lower lows and lower highs, when you finally break it, Bitcoin goes through this period of kind of grueling where it just barely makes some higher highs and higher lows until it doesn't. And then it breaks out very violently. In my opinion, right now, that's the phase that we're in. We're in the grueling of making higher lows and higher highs. And Bitcoin tends to do this a couple of times, and then it likes to break out violently. You can see the same thing from 2022, the bear market. When you finally break this downtrend, you just kind of gruel your way out of here. This was 16K all the way up to 30K, and just kind of bouncing your way higher until you break out violently. And of course, when we look at Bitcoin from 2022, we know that this was a bottoming structure, and we have the exact same setup right now with Bitcoin. You have your selling climax, your secondary test, textbook goes lower than your selling climax, and your spring textbook goes lower than the secondary test. And this is the textbook that you can see right in here. And of course, we're talking about the 2022 bottom structure for Bitcoin. And what I have is we've overlaid this for the same thing, where you have your markdown right here is your selling climax, same thing, your secondary test in phase B, same thing. And then the FTX collapse was the spring, which FTX went to zero at the same as the spring, and then we had OM going to zero at the same time. So in my opinion, for Bitcoin, we're somewhere in this area where we're already at our sign of strength, maybe even our back test, and the next macro move is your mark up, which would take Bitcoin to about $118,000. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Follow me for more, you savages.